Crystal, are we ready? It looks like Crystal, are we ready to start? Looks like everybody's signing in. I don't see the numbers climbing.
Yeah, it looks like we're going to be at 41 and the rest, I guess, are
In the training room.
in the training room or they'll see the replay.
Okay. Good morning, everybody. This is our safety meeting. It's Thursday, March 31st. Thank you for joining us in the meeting. If you're just not joining us, make sure that your cameras are on and well, we're going to talk about the safety meeting. We kind of changed it up because a lot of people were asking questions about the clearinghouse. So we had to change our plans within the last 3 days. There was a lot of questions and concerns coming about the clearinghouse. So we're kind of made it adjusted to where it's a safety thing too, because a lot of people have a question. This is a perfect time to get everybody to talk about the clearinghouse. And Crystal is going to go over what is going on, and so please pay close attention to the information she's going to give. A lot of you are already saying, including me, saying already registered, I enroll, but I'm not clearly registered, so I'm interested to see why my name's not going through to the clearinghouse. So as far as I know, she says there's at least 48 names that have not gone through, and we're going to post those names in the on the front to make sure if your name is on that list, that means you are not clear. Okay, so before we get going, I just want to make a quick announcement. June the 8th of 2022 is our yearly physicals. That is already set. The company called me yesterday, so if your medical card is due on June the 9th, we are set to have our physical on June the 8th. So please put that on your calendar. I know some of them you do it before the year is coming. So those are the ones that are due June the 9th. We are set for June the 8th to take them. So put that on your calendar. Please start adjusting to your medication, your adjustments of eating, your exercise and all that. Because remember, this is an important test. If you do not pass this physical, then you will get pinned in, meaning you cannot drive for us. So so we're having that. So I know some of you signed up for summer school, so just keep that in mind that our physicals are coming June the 8th. That is my agenda for a real quick announcement. I know Mr. De La Cruz has something on there too.
All right, good morning, everybody. And yes, I will keep this short, but these are some reminders that we need to share with you. The importance of making sure that you follow your route. A couple of weeks ago, we had a couple of call-ins where, our buses were reported that they were parked at a certain place, and, it's for an extended amount of time. And we've gone over this before. These are just reminders. So please make sure that if you're going to take a break, make sure you call it in, and make sure that you call it back in when you're ready to go back on route, right? Just to keep everybody aware that, so that we can say, yes, we are aware when we get a phone call from a community member or anything like that. Yes, we are aware, that thank you for your interest in making sure that, because you guys are out there in the public, all eyes are on you. So remember that, all eyes are on you. So the deviations, we also need to just give you some reminders, ladies and gentlemen. So please make sure that if you are deviating from your route, when you're going to point A to point B, make sure you call it in. Best practice, it needs to happen. So make sure to please call in your deviations. Log it in here at the dispatch. One of the things in worst case scenario, something happens and you were not on route, it gets messy, so we go into muddy waters and we're trying to prevent that. We can prevent it. If it's preventable, let's prevent it. But one easy solution is call it in if you are not following your route for whatever reason. Give the reason why is it that you're deviating. It's just a good practice. It's for you on your behalf too, to know that you're letting us know. So just please make sure you call your deviations. The next one is the TBSI, and I think some of you might have recalled this, is the Texas Behavior Support Initiative, which is the basically containing students or restraining, right? The training for that. So it is time to do that training again. We will be breaking it up into 2 big groups, and later on we might be going into maybe 4 subgroups, right? So I will post a list of Group A and Group B. We have drivers and aides for special needs, and this is more right now for special needs, and then we will expand to the regular bus routes. So take a look at that list. We'll probably post it maybe tomorrow. We'll have about a half hour to an hour face-to-face meeting, or maybe during the Zoom, so that we can show you the registration process. Well, we want to make sure that everybody knows how to register and take those modules. If you recall, we did the modules together face-to-face as a group. We're not going to be able to do that this time around because you need to print a certificate when you're done with your modules. And once you do that, you turn it into me, and I will forward that to the special needs office. And from there, we have a CPI that we're going to be getting access to take that part. And once we're done with that, it's another set of modules. Once we're done with that, we take the actual face-to-face hands-on training for doing restraints. You know, I don't think we have had those kind of scenarios this year where our drivers had to intervene to do some, or even aides to do containment. I think it's been more the staff, you know, so, but it's good for you to know. It's good practice. It's required, actually, but we need to make sure that we get everyone trained on that piece, the TBSI. And lastly, as I'm walking out in the mornings, ladies and gentlemen, I'm taking a look at the buses. I know the light is at the end of the tunnel. We can see that it's getting bigger, but until we get to that point, you need to wash your buses. So please, we cannot have our buses leave our yard all dingy. It doesn't look good. Okay, you driving in the community and driving up to the campus, please make sure you wash your bus. Please make sure that you also fill out a form. When you're washing your bus for that hour, we need to make sure we monitor all that piece when you're taking that hour to wash your bus. Okay. So ladies and gentlemen, please make sure you wash your bus. I know today is Thursday, so we're gonna set it for Wednesday. By Wednesday, I wanna make sure that everybody has their buses washed. If there's any particular reason why you cannot get it washed by Wednesday, please come and see me. You know, don't wait for me to come and look for you. Please come and see me as to you need circumstances that came up, you need some extra time. I know that it's tight right now, but I see people doing it when I'm out there for dismissal, or in the mornings right after, before departure, people are out there, they're going, so there's people are good about it. This is not new. All of you are familiar with it, so that's good. But please make sure you wash your bus. We want to have a fleet looking sharp out there when we're driving out in the community and when we're at the campus, pulling up at the campus. We want our kids to have pride in that bus that you're driving them in, okay? If you have any questions, concerns, or comments, please come and see any of us, or you can also catch me here in the office or out there in the yard. Enjoy talking to you guys out in the yard. But please make sure that to clean that bus, wash it. A little disclaimer there, but I mean clean, also in the inside, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you clean your buses from the inside too. Okay, thank you, and that's all I have, sir.
Okay. Crystal, thank you for giving us the time to give the information out. And so the safety meeting is handed over to you and Rose now. Thank you.
All right, guys. So I'm gonna try to make this, for some of you all, it's a repeat. We talked about it during in-service. So this is just to get more into it. Let's start this thing here. Give me one moment. Okay. All right, so today's safety meeting has to do with Clearinghouse. And Clearinghouse has to do with DOT. When do we get drug tested? Because I've had some people ask me about that. So this is how we're going to tie it all together so that you understand. We get drug tested for 3 different reasons: for pre-employment, after a vehicle accident, if it's required, and randomly. We just had one randomly. We don't know what dates they are at. We don't know who will be picked or what exactly has to get tested. Where does this information get reported? It gets reported on Clearinghouse. So that's the reason why Clearinghouse is so important. We fall under the safety sensitive industry. We are covered by FMCSA because we are a commercial motor carrier. The 6 entities that you see here, they're all under DOT because we're all part of transportation. And of course, it was recognized that it was important for the industry to be regulated, and it was in 1991 that it was passed. So,
Crystal, and I want to clear up the Federal Motor Carriers is the Safety Administration for the Clearinghouse, correct? Because you said FMCA. So I want them to understand that it's a Federal Motor Carriers Safety Administration. Am I correct on that?
right. So some people have asked me, does this have anything to do with DPS? Remember, DPS is state. FMCSA, which is that has to deal with the Clearinghouse, that is federal. So that what was the importance, if you remember when I spoke about map 21, is that we're trying to get all the information to be from state to state all in one clearinghouse, so that you no longer can go from having your license in California and you messed up in California and you lost your license, and then all of a sudden you decide to move to Louisiana to get your to get your CDL, and they don't have any information about what happened in the other state. You're able to get a CDL out. So, and you're able to get your CDL out in Louisiana and still travel the 50 states, being that you have the interstate put on your CDL. That's why it's so important that it all be at one thing. So this has DPS is one thing and Clearinghouse is something else, although it all goes together. Immediately when you received your CDL, all that information got uploaded to the FMCSA. So whether you've completed your registration or not, they have your information. The federal government has your information. So the questions I've been asked is what they hear say, what is a consent and what is a query? So a consent is the request that the employer asks for the CDL permission. So we have to have on file your motor vehicle records, that's from DPS. And then we have to have the Clearinghouse records. So that's why we have to request it. And a query is the electronic check. So the way we are required to request it is electronically. So some of you have received letters in the mail. Some of you have received emails, and some of you have just gone ahead and done it. The ones that have not received, if you haven't received an email, remember that you registered it, or you may have registered it under your personal email, because at the time I had informed you all that I prefer that you all use your personal email, since this is something that's going to go with you throughout your life as long as you have a CDL. We are required to ask for consent, or we're required to do a query at least twice a year. You have to do a full query at the beginning of the year at least once. When you go from an employer to another employer, that employer will ask you for consent too. So it's previous to your employment, you will have to require consent. Someone has asked me, what if I don't want to do it? What if I don't want to get registered? Can the federal government require me to be registered through Clearinghouse? Well, the answer is no, if you are only working for yourself, because then you're your own employer. But as long as you work for someone else, you have to be registered through the Clearinghouse. You have to actually get the consent electronically. So I have a list, like how Mr. Tamayo said, I have a list of 25 drivers that they should have received something at least in the mail. You may not have received an email because those 25 are showing that your account is not confirmed. Everyone else should have received some kind of email. And if you haven't received an email, we're going to go through the process quickly. and I'm going to show you my process live as to how you're going to do that. First and foremost, you're going to need to go to the Clearinghouse website, and all this information will be given to you if you don't already have it. Once you get into the Clearinghouse, which remember that was the login.gov, it's going to send you to login.gov, and then it'll get you to the Clearinghouse. You're going to have a dashboard. The dashboard is going to look something like this. And again, I'm going to show you mine live. And this is what you're looking for. Some of you have gone into it, into your dashboard, and it doesn't have the actual query consent. That's because at the time when the query request was made, your account was not confirmed. So you were one of those that actually should have received something in the mail, a physical piece of paper in the mail, indicating that an employer was looking into your information. Depending on your selection, it'll prompt you to consent and confirm. On the bottom of your consent thing, it'll say, do you consent releasing the information to, and then it'll show on there. So what we're looking for, or what this whole thing is about violations for drug and alcohol. And if you have any questions about drug and alcohol, in the very beginning, I showed the book. It's now online. I will send that email. When I send out the email of the replay, I will send out all the links that you need if you want a copy of a hard copy of that. So this is a refresher on about if you didn't register for Clearinghouse from login.gov. Remember, that's where you're going to go to first. So before we have questions, I'm going to show you now mine so that you can see it live, what it's supposed to look like. When you get, what you're going to go to is clearinghouse.fmcsa.dot.gov. On your actual email that you received, it had that link to it. But if you didn't get the email, you don't need to worry. You can still go in this way. So all you do is you type in it, you click on login. It's going to direct you to the FMCSA Drug and Alcohol Clearinghouse login.gov. Here's where you're going to put your email address and your password. If you don't remember it, you're going to come down here to forgot your password. If you don't think that you, and like I said, everybody should have an account. If you don't remember what email you sent it to, you can always try to create an account. It'll actually prompt you at some point that's saying that account has already been made, and it'll tell you how to get your password. So once you log into your Clearinghouse, it's going to look like this. It's going to look like this. As you see on mine, it has, here's my dashboard, and here's where I can manage my profile and my notification settings. And here, yes, sir, go ahead.
Real quick, if they want to know if they're in, see how your name says welcome, Crystal? That's how they know that they're in.
Yes, that's how you know you're in, because it's going to actually say welcome, and it's going to have your name. That's how you know that you're actually in your account. If you click on dashboard, this is where you would get information on your profile and your notification settings. So you can customize your notification settings on how you want the consent to be sent to you. And so in the beginning, it's all going to be email, but you can actually request for it to be modified. So going back to my dashboard, this is the first page. When you scroll down, as you can see, I have no violations, nothing resolved. And here I have a query consent request, and it says Southwest ISD, and here's the date that we sent it off. So of course, I'm going to consent. And once you consent, you get this. It says confirm your consent, and it gives you the information on in accordance, why we're doing this. By confirming it, it says here, do you disclose? So of course, if you say no, that is going to prompt the employer, then you are no longer, at that point, you are not in compliance with FMCSA, and that would put you in not being able to be commercially driving a commercial motor vehicle. So of course, we're all going to say yes to disclose the information, and then you submit. Once you submit it, see, there's no violations about you exist in Clearinghouse. then that's it. Some of you, when you get onto your dashboard, it's going to say this query consent request, none pending. Like I said, if you already did it, and I have a handful of about 18 of you that have already verified, which is great. Thank you so much. For those that have, like I said, for those that haven't verified, that you may see this, that you say, well, I never got a consent. I've looked in my clearinghouse and nothing's been sent. If you'll just be patient with us, those are the ones that need to make sure you confirm your account, and we will be manually sending the query. We should have that done by Friday. So sometime between now and Saturday, that will prompt you to do the query. So I would recommend that maybe Monday you double check on it to make sure that the query is done.
So Crystal,
Yes,
if I
sir.
can add, if you are struggling for whatever reason to accomplish this, please don't wait to the very last minute to bring it to our attention so we can help. The sooner you make somebody aware, the sooner we can help, right? Don't wait till the last minute. I think we said 25 or 28. If you are struggling, don't sit there and try to figure it out on your own. If you are struggling, let us help. That's where we have staff here. So bring it to our attention so we can lend you a hand with that. This is a process that shouldn't be challenging, right? But if we can make it a lot easier, please go ahead and let staff, one of the trainers know, or one of us, so that we can help you with that. Okay, so know that you have that as a resource. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thank you so much for that, sir. So like I said, I will post the list, and I'm sure drivers that know which ones you are if you've already received something in the mail. If you haven't received a letter in the mail, that doesn't mean that the federal government doesn't have your information. They have been known to, the post office has been known to lose that piece of paper. Please go ahead and go into the clearinghouse just to make sure that you are able to get to it, that you have the password and the login to it. Like I said, the 25 names that you see on the list are the ones that are pending it. Those of you on the list will get the query manually, and you should have it, like I said, no later than this weekend.
So Chris, so one thing that I want to add to is, this is not a shame list or anything like that. This has no punitive consequences. This is just information that if you need help, once again, bring it to our attention. It's just, know that if you are struggling, that you're not alone out there. So that's why we're having this meeting, like Mr. Tamayo said. Once again, if you're on that list, you need help, please ask for help.
Yes, that's exactly what the list was for. The list is not, it's not by no means, no one's in trouble, because like I said, these are just the ones that for whatever reason, and the federal government has been very nice. I've been on the phone with them several times. Lots of school districts are struggling because we're still waiting, hoping that we weren't going to be in this, having to do this, but because we are also a commercial vehicle and safety is of the utmost importance, they wanted to make sure that we were also in here. So again, we're not the only ones struggling. And many of you are, like I said, it's just a matter of you going in there and you'll see that consent part and you'll just be able to click it. Once you get into the habit of doing this, we're going to be doing this several times a year. It'll be easy, very, very easy. But this is something that as a professional driver, all professional drivers are doing this. So again, you're not, there's no shame. You saw that I hadn't consented on it. That's why I wanted to do it live to share that with you all.
Quick question.
Yes, sir,
Crystal.
go ahead. Mhm.
So I know a couple of drivers got is it the federal motor carrier letter? And it's
Yes.
just telling them that they're not registered yet. Is that what they're?
Correct. Correct. The letter says, I don't have a copy of it, but the letter indicates that your employer is reaching out to try and get your consent for your clearinghouse. And I know I had a couple of people that said they erased that email or they didn't think that letter was important because it just didn't seem like it. That's all it's saying. It's not saying that you can't drive. The way it's worded is that it makes it sound like if you don't comply with it, that you're not, that you won't be able to drive. What they're saying is that if you don't consent, the employer can then take you out of service because then they're not in compliance. So remember when I told you all, do you have to be in Clearinghouse? Well, you don't if you're self-employed, but none of us are self-employed. We all work for an employer. So that's why you have to register and you have to consent.
So Crystal, I'm glad you mentioned that because I'm just gonna be the devil's advocate here, ladies and gentlemen.
Go ahead.
If someone signs, well, I don't consent, whether accidentally or not, well, they're gonna pull me out of service, you know. And I think we'll cross that bridge when we get to it, but
let me tell you what happens when that happens. So in the event, because it has happened, and I did ask the feds, how does that impact us? Or how does it impact the employer? And so if in the event that you mistakenly put that you don't consent, we do get a report immediately and it alerts us that that happened. We still have an opportunity to speak with the driver and find out why. And if it was a mistake done incorrectly, then we can correct that. The employer can correct that on their part. If you do not consent, then we will have to ask HR to get involved and have a hearing. But we don't, it's not something that you'll get immediately taken off the bus. We note that, and we have 72 hours to take care of that before, so that we can be in compliance. Any other questions?
Crystal,
go ahead, sir, go ahead.
I'm gonna recommend all the drivers, since Crystal has all this, as soon as this safety meeting's over, I recommend that you do go into the Clearinghouse fmca.gov to log in, to just get a feel of it, to see if you are consent or not consent. And Crystal, I'm gonna be honest with you. I try to get on mine and mine doesn't go anywhere afterwards. So I don't know if I have to redo this again, or do I send an email to them and say, hey, I can't get in? I can get in, but I'm stuck right there.
So, sir, just like all the other drivers, and that's why I wanted to share this. We're all in this together. This is a great team building activity so that we can all do this together. I will walk you through it, and like I said, what we're going to do is we're going to make sure that everybody's at least able to get into their account and be able to see that no pending query consent request is on your account. Once you're right there, then, and if your name is on the list that I'll be posting, then just wait till Monday. But again, if your name's not on the list and you check in the Clearinghouse, you should see that consent in there. It should already be requesting that consent for you. But again, if you're someone like our director who's struggling, come to us and we will work with you to see what we can do to make sure that we are all in compliance. So don't be worried about being confused or anything. For Mr. Tamayo, he actually happens to be on our list. So we're gonna have to make sure that we do it manually, and he will be consenting on Monday.
Hey, ma'am,
Yes, sir.
I'm gonna have to do mine's over because it's not showing that I'm in the system, and I did mine's like December.
Yes, so you might have been one of those. The federal government couldn't give me a list of exactly which ones, but they did have a situation somewhere between when we registered during the in-service that I had asked so many people to register. And now they've done a lot of updates to their website. And so some people actually got thrown out. And so they're gonna have to go back and set themselves all up. Again, if you have to do that, go ahead and create the account. And I highly recommend you create it on your personal email. If your personal email is not secure, meaning that there's not some kind of type of firewall or anything, they won't allow you to set it up on that one. So then at that point, yes, set it up on your school email for now. You can always, if for whatever reason you leave the school district and you can't log in to the Clearinghouse, you can always go back and change it. Remember, the information is connected to your CDL information. So it's not something that it's going to follow you wherever you go, as long as you have your license and that information with you.
Roger. Crystal, I'll have to call you after. I have to talk to you about something, but it's in reference to why mine's probably
Yes,
But
you know what? Yes,
I will call you and
yes.
because I had to call another institution and I'll just
You'll
talk to
get
you.
back to me. Yes, and several of you might have different situations. I know some of you have class A, and like I said, it's one of those things that we need to make sure that each individual driver is taken care of. And that's what we're here for in training. So if there's anything that we can help you with, by all means, reach out. And like Mr. Dela Cruz said, don't leave it to the last minute. Do it now that you have a chance to do it, that we're asking you to do it, that it's fresh in your memory, because you will, like I said, it's very easy to forget. So if there's any questions or any concerns, please reach out to us, because we can call if there's something specific to your account that we need to call the federal government. That's what we need to do. It's not something we can take care of locally at the state. We'll actually have to get on the phone with them. Anything else?
So Crystal, can I just add real quickly?
Yes.
Now, the opposite of that. Just like when you call a medical office, I think everybody's gonna be calling you. Don't give up. If you get a busy tone or you get sent to a voicemail, don't give up. I tried. I did my part. No, ma'am, no, sir, that's not gonna cover you. Keep trying, okay, until you get in there.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're gonna get swamped after this Zoom meeting, okay?
Yeah. Don't.
Just wanted to add that disclaimer.
Yeah, no, thank you. And I always tell that to people when they're like, well, I wanted to reach out to you, but you looked so busy. That's what me and Rose are for. Yes, we're always busy, but we're never too busy for you. We'll try and make time to take care of each individual. Just be patient with us and keep reaching out to us. You're not bothering us. You're not annoying us. That's what we're here for.
Real quick, Crystal, I know I had Carlos and Benito Munoz with those letters, so I hope that clear up their questions. I just want to make sure if that was clear enough information for them to know.
Yes, and again, those that have already done it, reach out to your fellow drivers that you can help. You can be a great help to us in the training department also. If you've already consented and you've already taken care of it, thank you. And please, if you can help out your neighbor or help out somebody to get onto Clearinghouse, I highly recommend it. So if there's nothing else for today, like I said, I'm sure you all have lots of questions individually and we'll be happy to help you all. But if not, then I guess that would wrap it up.
Miss Crystal,
Yes.
can you post that list again? I saw it, but then I didn't. I couldn't see if my name was even on it. I remember doing it a long time ago.
Yeah, no, if your name is not on the list, that does not mean that you've already consented. I should say that also. Only you know if you've already consented. So if all you've done is register, that's not consenting. Consenting would have been in the last, like you saw, the query was done on the 22nd, which was last Tuesday. So it would have been anything from Wednesday, the 23rd to today, because even today, I'm still getting a lot of people that are slowly but surely consenting. There's still quite a bit of people that have not, obviously, since I only have 18 and there's quite a few drivers. So if you haven't consented from the last week, that means you have not consented. So yeah, I guess that's all. Like I said, we'll individually be.
Morning.
All right, then we will see you all this afternoon and have a great day.
Real quick, Crystal,
Yes, sir.
before we break off, I just want to remind the drivers. I know a lot of you are doing a good job about the island, but we need to make sure if you're at a campus and all that your buses have been off and everything. I am watching the island, okay? Just so you know, our gas bill for the monthly has really gone up. As you know, fuel prices have spiked up. So please help the district save money by not sitting there idling your buses. As you get to your campus, you know you're supposed to turn your buses off. As soon as you see the kids start coming out of the building, you turn your bus off, turn your bus on. So please help the district about saving the money, because I do have a budget to go by there, and that's something that I need to help control for the district. The other thing is the building. As soon as they do the inspection in the building, we will start hosting our meetings together inside their training room. So I just can't move stuff in there until they hand us off the building. So that will be happening real soon. And I know for sure in April, we'll start doing our department meetings and our safety meetings in person. So that's just a quick reminder. Thank you for taking the time to listen to the safety meeting that we had today. And thank you for everything that you do. And don't forget to come back at 2:15 and have a good day and enjoy the good weather that's out there today.
Thank you, guys. We'll see you later. Thank you.